The spiritualist Ram Dass has this lovely quote that says, "We are all just walking each other home." We are all just walking each other home. In Christianity, we speak of the path, or the way, or the journey. And then we celebrate and we remember those who walk with us, who journey with us, who share with us in our life. Those people whose paths seem to be closely knit to our own. These are our parents who held our hands when we were learning to walk. These are our school friends who sat with us and were present with us when we thought that nobody cared about us. These are our loves who saw us as beautiful, even when we weren't sure if we really were. These are our church friends who join with us and are there with us when a child is born or when a family member dies. These are our co-workers who surprised us by understanding our situation and offering to help us and support us when we thought we had to do the task alone. We remember all these people. We value them. We love them. Because they moved with us. They walked with us. They stood with us. They were present with us through all of the moments of our lives. We are all just walking each other home. On good days, it feels like we're really close together. Like we're all side by side on the same path going forward together. And we may stop and gaze from a dazzling height to see a beautiful view together and share in that vision. And we may continue walking, and as we walk, we may confide in each other about our struggles or our concerns or our fears. And we may comfort each other as we walk forward, and we may offer compassion to each other and tend to each other's wounds. And we celebrate any time that we're able to move forward together. On good days, even if we're geographically far apart from each other, we know that we are held close by people who walk with us in prayer and hold us in their thoughts, in their minds, moment after moment, as they walk with us. But then there are those other days when it feels like our paths have completely diverged, where suddenly it feels like we have found ourselves alone, on a road by ourselves, and it feels like we're either invisible or no one wants to walk with us. And we can't even decide which is worse. Is it worse to be completely unseen? Or is it worse to be seen but have people choose not to join with us? And we're reminded that this thing we call Christianity only really works in community. Christianity only really works if there are at least two people walking together. Christianity is a faith about a shared journey as we walk each other home. There's an old story of a man who decided he wanted to be a Christian. And not just a Christian, this man decided he wanted to be the best Christian in all of history. And so he set off into the wilderness with nothing more than a Bible in hand and determination in his mind to become the best Christian that had ever lived. Day and night, he memorized and studied Scripture. Night and day, he prayed to the Lord, asking for wisdom and knowledge. There he stayed for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And eventually the day came where he decided there was nothing more for him to learn. He had memorized every story of Scripture. He understood all of Jesus' parables. He could recite every proverb and understand how to apply every proverbial statement that was needed. He could write out all the genealogies. He knew what a cubit was. He had achieved his goal of having all knowledge and wisdom of the life of faith. And so satisfied that he had achieved his goal, he prayed one more time and thanked God for all the wisdom and understanding that he now possessed. And God replied, "You're welcome. Let me know when you want to start being a Christian." Because there is no such thing as an individual Christian. We are only Christians together. Neighbors, community, family, whatever term we want to use, church, whatever family term we want to use to describe our faith, we are on a shared journey as children of God. And so we walk with all the people on our own journeys home. There was a man going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. We don't know who he was. Scripture doesn't say. Maybe he was a fellow Jew. Maybe he was a Roman. Maybe he was an Egyptian who was in the country on business. Maybe he was in the country illegally. We don't know who the man was. But Jesus' silence on the topic, on who he was, is a sign to us that it doesn't matter. That whoever he was, we were to be a neighbor to him, to care for him, to walk on his journey with him. It doesn't matter why he was on the road in the first place, what he might have done in his past, where he was going, why he was doing any of this. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he was a person in need. So all we really know about this man is that he was alone. He was alone. When he was attacked and left for dead, no one was there with him. He was walking alone. Isolation leaves people vulnerable. And they stay vulnerable until someone either walks with them or someone exploits them and leaves them for dead. What followed that setup is, as I've said a few times already, what I think is the most famous of all of Jesus' lessons. A priest was going down the road, a good religious person who would surely help in this situation. He would surely join with this man, walk with the vulnerable, except there were some complicating factors that made it a little difficult for him. The priest, for one, was likely riding down the road. Poor people walked on the Jericho road. People of means, people of authority and power, they either rode in something in a cart essentially being pulled, or they rode on an animal. And so maybe it would have been better if someone who was already walking would have stopped and helped this man instead of expecting a priest to dismount and walk over and do these things himself. But that's not even it. It's really a metaphor about maybe someone of this own class would have. Why would we expect a rich and powerful person to help someone who was beaten and left for dead? Seems to be the lesson that Jesus is drawing with that. Besides, if the man who was beaten was a non-Jew, and the priest touched him, the priest would have been defiled. He would have had to return to Jerusalem to be ritually cleansed again and start the journey again, for he had touched a non-Jew on his way to Jericho. Likewise, if the man was actually dead, and the priest got within a couple feet of him, again, the priest would have been seen as defiled. And he would have had to return to Jerusalem and leave behind whatever he was to be doing in Jericho. So he switched to the other side of the road and rode on by. It is so easy to hide behind religion and ignore our shared humanity. It is so easy to hide behind our religious practices or beliefs and ignore the needs of others, and to deny our neighbors the care and love that they need. It is so easy for people to hide behind religion instead of walking with those who are vulnerable. Well, then a Levite came on down the road. Levites were temple-going people. These were the people who made sure that the temple actually ran. We know these people. These are the people who make sure that the courtyard is clean, and that the lamps are filled, and that the visitors are greeted, and that the money is deposited. There weren't temple committees per se, but if there were, the Levites would be the committee chair people and the members who are on all of the temple committees to make sure that all the work that needs to be done in order to keep an operation, a religious setting, up and running. We know these people, right? Like the folks who keep everything running. A Levite came down the road. They were the priest's assistants, and they knew how to get things done. A priest rode by, and predictably a Levite was walking behind him, ready to assist the priest with anything that the priest may need. The Levite was actually the perfect person to help the man who was beaten by the side of the road. Because the Levite would have known the people of Jericho, would have known where to go, would have known who to would have known who to reach out to. The Levite was the perfect person to help this man. But the Levite was walking behind the priest, and the Levite watched the priest detour around, and he did the same. He followed the priest. If the priest thinks it's better for him to pass by on the other side, then so should I. It is so easy to hide behind other people's decisions and set aside our own authority and our own abilities. Here it was a religious person who wasn't wanting to question their priest. But this is the student who remains silent even when they know their teacher is wrong. It's the employee who figures that the CEO makes all the decisions and I'm just going to do the work. And this is a true story, it's the tragedy of a co-pilot of an Air France flight that crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, who knew that the plane had stalled, but didn't want to challenge the decision that the pilot had made as they fell out of the sky. It is so easy to hide behind other people's decisions and set aside our own authority and our own abilities. And so instead of issuing Amber Alerts for 1,500 children sitting at our border, we decide it's a political decision and they'll figure it out. Instead of issuing Amber Alerts for them, we say it's someone's policy and we'll vote and we'll figure it out from there. It is so easy to hide behind other people's decisions. But maybe we're actually called to walk people home. Maybe it's as simple as recognizing when a neighbor has been isolated or set aside and left vulnerable, and then choosing to walk with them. Or better yet, letting them ride on our animal, which is what the Samaritan actually did. He got off his animal and put the beaten man onto an animal who then rode the rest of the way to Jericho. Maybe we really are called to be like a Samaritan and join with the vulnerable, even though we are probably the least qualified person to intervene in this situation. We don't even know where to go when we get to Jericho. But maybe that's who Jesus calls us to be. The Good Samaritan is probably the most famous of Jesus' lessons, because we always remember those people who walked with us. We remember the people who saw us when we thought we were invisible. We remember the voice of the one who supported us, challenged us, and loved us. We remember the people who, despite being from a different land, or practicing a different faith, or embracing different politics, or any of the other ways that we separate ourselves, we remember those people who set all of that aside and joined with us and walked with us when we were vulnerable. He's famous because more often than we like to confess, we are the priest or the Levite who try to look the other way and keep our hands clean and not have to be the one who makes a decision about what to do. And it's famous because periodically we are the one beaten on the side of the road as our life spins out of control, and we are wondering, does anyone see us? And we celebrate those who do. But every now and again, we are the Samaritan. And we are the neighbor who stops, who cares about, who cares for, and then lovingly walks each other home. Go and do likewise.